Action!
Welcome to the IDEABAAZ Podcast with me, your host, Pooja Nerurkar.
One of my professors at Penn told me, and it was part of his class, ask for the highest thing you can ask for with a straight face.
Yeah, it's very important. That's negotiation 101, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, we ask for a little and then we try to justify. Ki nahi, but it'll add this value, it'll do this, it'll do that. No. Why?
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
They will always see women as, people who should be beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you're more valued as a beautiful woman than as an intelligent woman.
Yeah.
I got 96%. Yes. And I was like, who are these 4% who don't
Oh my
believe
god! No amount of preparation. You can read a gazillion papers every day, but no amount of that is going to prepare you for the practical world. You just have to step out. The last thing you want is come home to a war zone. आज हमारे साथ है एक ऐसी फाउंडर जो सोलो वुमेन फाउंडर है. And when you think about solo women founders, incidentally and surprisingly, less than 8% of invested capital goes to women founders. तो एक ऐसे situation and ऐसे circumstances से गुजरी हुई, somebody who is not just killing it in this industry, she has a beauty brand, but her tagline is beauty by brains. आज हमारे साथ हैं Poshan के founder Rhea, who is not just beautiful but is incredibly brainy. Welcome on set, Rhea. Welcome.
Thank you.
Please come. There's amazing food today.
Oh wow. So much Poshan.
Yeah, actually. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is how we always start our podcast.
Okay.
Incredible things happened, Ekto, first off, on the show with you.
Yes.
So we would like to know about this whole choice of being the solo women founder. How did that go on to be, and was that by design or by default? उसके पीछे की story थोड़ी हमें बताइए.
Sure. So, for the longest time, I knew that I wanted to start something of my own. So my father has a family business, and he's a solo founder, so to speak, because it's a first generation business. Yeah. And he always told me that it gave him a lot of liberty, it gave him 100% ownership. Obviously, it meant 100% responsibility also. Yeah. But it was always something that he valued, it gave him flexibility, and for him to follow his own vision. And I saw that it's possible to do it, and possible to do it in a very nice way. So I wanted to do it solo as well. Having said that, I studied a lot before I started Poshan. Yeah. And in that journey, I felt like I really mastered product to a large extent, and I was always told that business and marketing is something you can learn as you go. Yes. So I felt confident to be a solo founder.
And it's so true, because you can never be 100% ready, right? So for the longest time I thought this, that I have to read up on material before going to a meeting or before doing something incredible. And then I realized that you're never ever going to be 100% ready. Yeah. And that essentially means that you always are 100% ready.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense.
Yeah, because you just need to take that jump and the leap of faith and figure things out along the way.
Yeah, or you feel ready once you actually do it.
Yeah,
I was ready.
Yeah. But your story has been so incredible, because one thing I really want to tell our audience here, that Rhea is somebody who had a lot going on for her. She was in the United States in an Ivy League school. She was working in the beauty capital of the world, which is Paris. And she left that, came to India to build something for our Bharat. Yes. It makes me incredibly proud of this decision of yours. But tell me, how did you make that decision? Because when there's nothing going on, so one of my mentors told me this, that you become an entrepreneur when there's nothing going on for you, or when there's everything going on for you and you have nothing to lose.
Sure.
Right? So tell me about you. How did you take that decision to come back to India and do something for our country?
Sure. So it was actually fueled by a lot of my time abroad, because I saw when I was in the US, there were so many American brands, and they were whether they were from California or they were from New York, and Estee Lauder, for example, or like newer brands like You to the People, etc., that were like selling on Sephora. They really owned their sort of cultural identity. And when I looked back at home, I didn't really see anything that was new age but felt Indian. So we obviously had Ayurvedic brands, but nothing that strongly resonated with a modern or like a younger Desi woman, for example. And then in France, it was literally like there was nothing else to think about, because the French are mad about their culture. They'll only speak their language, they'll only name everything, they'll mispronounce everything only to stay true to their roots. And in India, for the longest time, we were, chasing different cultures, like whether it's French, American, or more recently Korean. And I was like, enough of this. I feel like we have enough from an intellectual property or like a technology perspective to build something of our own for the world. And that was my decision. Like, I want to come back. I want to make something that people from other countries can appreciate.
Wow, that's amazing. And if you think about it, Ayurveda comes from India, right?
Absolutely.
And we've always been chasing first the Western world and now the Korean world. You're right about it. I respect this thought line so much.
Thank you.
And another thing also which is remarkable is that when I say that you're building for Bharat, not just that you're building products for Bharat, but you're also employing a lot of people in Bharat, be it directly or indirectly, right? Because you're an entrepreneur. And with that comes a lot of responsibility. Now tell me, as a woman, we're a little bit disadvantaged because we, a lot of the people that I have seen in the corporate world now have become warriors because they've had to struggle their way through to be taken seriously. And somewhere along the way, a little bit of kindness is lost. So I want to hear about your empathy, because we see from your social media that you're so pally with your team, with your employees. And I want to know about the intricacies that go on, because you're a woman, you're 27 years old. How was it like leading a team? How was it like dealing with people who are much older than you are, in the industry for a lot longer than you have been? So please, go on, tell me.
So I would say, my team right now is quite small. We are 7 of us, and naturally we are incredibly close because we are part of the founding team of Poshan. We are aligned in our mission and vision. So more than me sort of being kind to them and motivating them, they are equally motivated and believe in what we are building. So that helps a lot. I think also being from maybe, because a lot of my employees are also young, some are older, but the younger ones, I come from their generation, right? So I understand how they think. I know what they value. I know how important, say, work from home on certain days, flexibility in timings, all those things are. So I deeply value that, I respect that, and because of that, I don't have any like mismatch in their expectations and reality. Working with people who are older has been, I wouldn't say challenging. I feel like I have to firstly, sort of give an introduction about myself, what I've done, what I've achieved, for them to take me seriously. Like it wouldn't come with just me walking into the room. They'd be like, yes, tell me what's happening. I have to like tell them everything that I've achieved so far, and then they'll be interested in listening, of course.
Understand. And there was this story that we know about you, that before you used to carry a backpack and then you started carrying a purse. So it's like boys growing a beard to be taken seriously. So I'll tell you my story, okay? I started, I was for the longest time, the last several years, leading strategy as part of CEO's office. And when you're part of CEO's office, you're reporting directly to the CEO. Okay? Now, I was like, 24, 25 that time, and I am giving instructions to people who are like 40, 45, 50. So it was a very hard thing for me to be taken seriously. So I kind of figured that out, that if you do things for them without them asking you, then there's a higher chance for them to go out of the way to do things for you because they consider you as their friend.
Sure.
Right? So these are some of the things that I implemented in my life. So how did you deal with your contract manufacturers? Was there some strategy or was there some learning that came out of that process?
Sure. So on a lighter note, I can share the backpack story. Essentially, when I was first finding contract manufacturers, especially given that we have a proprietary formulation, I wanted it to be protected. Which means whichever manufacturer I work with, I wanted to make sure they don't share it with anyone else, or we have that sort of exclusivity, etc. And that was really challenging because the first question, like, you know, when I would go up to, in these trade shows, meeting manufacturers and collecting their cards, I was with a backpack. Like 2 years ago, I looked a lot younger than I do now. And they were like, aap kahan se aaye ho, aap school mein ho, and like, you know, all these questions, and they're like, अच्छा आप कहाँ आप तो घर में भी बना सकते हो अपने प्रोडक्ट
oh like, my god
it was that and I was like okay sure so the next day of the trade show I went with like my glasses, my engagement a purse, and I was like okay, and then they were like they would look and they're like okay maybe she's like a little older, she knows what she's talking about, and that was like the funny story. But I think with regards to be taken seriously, for me, it's just been like I have a clear vision, right? Like this is what I want to achieve. I state a value proposition to them that if you sort of partner with me, this is how it would benefit you as well. And sort of showing in the past how I've like proved what I want to achieve, I sort of get it, and showing them that they could play a vital part in that, and then they get excited. And sometimes it's also with the like one of my manufacturers, for example, with the diligence with which I sort of take notes during the meeting, the ideas that I have that they've never experienced. They're like, हम इतनी बड़ी MNCs के साथ काम करते हैं, वो भी नहीं पूछते आपने ये कहाँ से किया. So like these kind of things, I think they take you seriously in the work that you do.
I think these little things go a long way when you show, but not very directly, how serious you are by taking notes. It does go a long way, the kind of first impression that you create. So, you know, I've learned emotional intelligence. So, we have like a triangle there, okay? It's called ethos, pathos and logos. Whenever you're selling something or negotiating with somebody or just building a business, right? Ethos is credibility at the get-go. Pathos is how do you instigate emotion. And the third part is logos, and all three in tandem gets your work done. So when you write notes, I think that's building credibility at the get-go, and that's essentially ethos. So like the first thing is check marked over there. 100%. And it's very important. I totally understand. But I want to focus on your engagement ring. You are like an inspiration. If my parents are listening to this, please don't. Because I mean, for women, they're just like, okay, you need to get married, you need to get married. So you've been married for a while now.
For 3 years.
For 3 years. And you're 27, so you're married at like 24. Okay? I was just figuring out my life at 24. I had no idea what I was doing. So at 24, you got married and now you're building a business. I'm sure that your family would have built a very strong support system around you. I mean, I could be wrong, but I want to know more about it. Like, were they supportive? Were they not? Were they telling you a little bit like, "अरे बेटा, क्या ज़रूरत है ये सब करने की? हमारे पास पैसा है, हम कर लेंगे?" Or was it like they were very encouraging?
Okay, so with regards to the marriage or the business?
No, like the marriage supporting the business or the family, not just your family but also your in-laws, both together supporting the business that you're building.
So I would say my in-laws have had an incredible role to play when it comes to this, because they sort of funded the venture when it was bootstrapped. When I started, and you know, they were my father-in-law has a really big heart, essentially. And he was like, and he's built his own business as well. And he was like, okay, Rhea, what do you want to do? Because he knew I'd studied for this, he knew I'd worked for this. And I sort of was like, this is what I want to build, this is my idea, and so on. And he was like, okay, and what do you need? Like, how can I help you? And I was pretty clear, it was more about the capital than anything else. And he's like, absolutely, like, you know, we are with you. And and one very important thing he said to me was, the reason that we are willing to support you is because we know you are hardworking. So it's not about like what the outcome is going to be. We know that you're going to work hard with the funds that we give you. So like you're not coming from like a place of entitlement, like I deserve this, but what I want to build with it. And without them, their support, my mother-in-law who like really is like in awe of what I do and also super encouraging, like
That's so amazing.
You need to do this, like you need to show it and everything. And my husband, obviously, without him, like he is a silent, unfortunately low equity co-founder.
Okay, it's time to change that now.
But he, together it's been incredible because I feel like without them, and you know, when you have things that are not working out at home, maybe it's just much harder. But I see them as like assets, like that are giving me more to grow Poshan versus taking away, or like something I have to fight with to build what I need to build.
And that's so important. The last thing you want is come home to a war zone.
Exactly.
And that's, I loved how your mother-in-law is so supportive, and I think you also are going towards being a role model for so many people that are either on the cusp of entrepreneurship or have an idea and are kind of just figuring out, you know, what to do. And these things are again very implicit, very intangible. So my grandmother, she was a freedom fighter, okay? She led rallies for India's independence. She did not want to marry at all that time, right? In 30s, 40s. And then when she was finally 30, there was a lot of family pressure. So she was like, okay, you know, I'll just marry whoever. So, but she came from a very, very influential and politically connected family back in the day. And I think over time she gave up the political dream to raise her family, her 3 children, my dad being one of them. And I've lived with her really, I've seen her up close and personal, and I've lived with her throughout her years. And I feel like she was always a role model for me, because the things that she thought, the way that she did what she did, the ideology and the value system that she carried with herself was so sacred. And these are not things that she taught me or told me about. These are things that I just learned by example, just by looking at her. And I'm sure that you right now, with your story, are proving to be that for so many young women, be it in metro cities or somewhere in some village, you know, listening to this podcast or seeing you on the IDEABAAZ show. I'm serious, I'm not joking. I don't mean to overwhelm you, but I'm truly, like, I love it. I don't have words for it, but truly, and at this age, it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't even know what to say. Thank you for saying it so kindly. I don't know if I'm an inspiration yet, but I definitely hope for, you know, girls especially to really prioritize their education, prioritize their career. Like, those are 2 things that have been instrumental in where I am today. Like, being a very diligent, hardworking student, and then after that, like, knowing that I want to build something in like the profession, in my professional life, and like an actual career, and working really hard towards it.
That's amazing. Okay, so getting into your business, right? You have a beauty brand which is Poshan.
Yes.
And at a time, you're entering the beauty space at a time where it's a little cluttered, it's very saturated. So when we had legacy big daddies like Lakme, L'Oreal or Estee Lauder, all these brands, and then there was a very tiny space there, because there was nothing made by Indians, for their skin tone, for their skin type. And that is where you see brands like Sugar or Mama Earth or these other brands coming into picture, where they're positioning themselves to be catering to the Indian segment. So how does Poshan figure a place into this market, and how do you stand out?
Got it. So I would say that firstly, a lot of homegrown Indian brands are now really building for India, which is amazing. It's something that we really needed. It's enough of the West and the East, and like finally good to be proud of like our roots. With regards to Poshan, one of our strongest things that really makes us unique is our technology. It's called skin biotic technology. We also won a grant from Estee Lauder's global R&D team.
Oh wow, congratulations.
Thank you for breakthrough in innovation. So what you would see is technically it's really easy to enter the beauty industry, right? Because you have contract manufacturers, you can source packaging.
Sorry, and this grant that you said, I want to like know a little bit more about it. How much did you get? And you got the grant even before you launched the products, right? It was just solely for R&D. That's an unbelievable faith that they put on you, because you must have outshined. So tell me a little bit more about that, and we segue into.
Sure. So we got $50,000.
Wow, that's huge money.
In an equity-free grant, which essentially means they just gave me the money.
Wow, and that's that's higher than a lot of people charge for equity also, by the way, in the seed round.
I know. To build out our technology, which was super unique. I can get into it a little bit more. It's essentially probiotics for your skin. So the same way you have dahi and chas and idli and fermented things, kanji for your stomach to promote good bacteria. We do the same thing on your face.
Oh wow.
Because when you have acne, sensitivity, a damaged barrier, what ends up happening is you have more bad bacteria than good. And we like to promote the good bacteria.
That is the pH balance, right? Is that correct?
No, so the pH balance is slightly different. It's essentially how, in layman's terms, how acidic or basic a formula would be. And your skin's pH is 5, and that's what you want traditionally, 5.5, what you want your products to be at. But this is more about the bacteria that's sitting on your face. It's like little living organisms.
Oh my god, it sounds very weird. When you're saying it, I can't imagine bacteria on my face. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's there.
Yeah, it's like when you have food poisoning, you take an antibiotic and then it upsets your stomach, right? Because it also kills all the good bacteria. And then you'll have dahi, you'll have all these things to sort of soothe and cool your stomach. The same way, like every day when you're out in the pollution, you're like in the sun, you have dirt, dust, all of these things. It causes a lot of bad bacteria growth on your face, and you essentially want to promote the good. That's what we do. But we were talking about the grant. So essentially our technology is what really differentiates us in the market, simply because, like I was saying, it's a super crowded market, also because it's really easy to enter the market. You can just go to a contract manufacturer, you can find packaging. And a lot of people also do it from home, and then you just sort of slap on a label, like white labeling essentially, put your brand name and start selling. It's easy to set up a website, like very easy. Which is when you see a lot of very mildly differentiated brands on the market. So that's why it's like seems super crowded and everyone's selling the same thing with different names. That's why when I wanted to enter, I didn't want to only differentiate on a marketing and branding point of view. I also wanted to make sure our product is really superior and differentiated. So this is where this technology comes in. It makes it super safe. Poshan super safe for sensitive skin. It makes your skin barrier healthy, not just from like the way traditional beauty brands have spoken about, like ceramides and your epidermis and dermis, but above it, like catering to the living organisms that live on top of it.
Okay, I hear you.
Essentially that. So that's what really differentiates us, and obviously I'm a scientist. So I studied biology for 4 years, did my master's in cosmetic formulation, worked at L'Oreal in Paris in product development, and all of this led to me sort of formulating Poshan for India.
I'm sure there was one moment, maybe when you were in Paris or maybe when you were in India, where you decided, acha, yahi karna hai.
I can actually talk about it from one of my product names. So my sunscreen is called Dhoop Ki Rani. And for the longest time, women in India told, or even men, Dhoop mein mat khelo, kale ho jaoge. And it's always this stigma against the sun.
Yeah.
And it's the first product name that we had thought of, like, because I was like, I want, for the longest time, the beauty industry sort of alienated you, made you feel like insecure. I was like, I want compliment names that make you feel good about yourself. So if you're using something called Dhoop Ki Rani, you're like, yes, like I'm proud of like whether I'm tanned, I'm not tanned, I'm in the sun, I'm protected. Like that's the goal. And when we came up with Dhoop Ki Rani, I was like, yes, this is what I want to build. This is what I want to sort of the messaging I want to promote. That we are proud of like our skin color, we are proud of where we come from, and you know, we are just proud.
Yeah, this is flipping the narrative.
Exactly.
When you're looking at a glass half empty, you're like, no, it's half full.
Yeah,
that's essentially
like
what you're doing.
I own the sun.
Yes.
Like I'm protected and I'm in it and I'm not scared of it.
Yes. Were you always so independent as a child, or was it something that you picked up a little later on in life?
No, I think I was always very like, people would call me bossy.
Yeah.
Or like very, I love to try different things. I love to like do them like with a lot of passion and discipline.
Yeah.
So growing up, I actually did judo.
Oh wow.
And I won like state level MSSA competitions and even like Champions Cup, etc. Mayor's Cup, sorry. But what ended up happening was I broke my bones like 3 times. I was like,
oh my god.
So it was a bit intense. I was like, okay, maybe I need to take a step back.
Oh shit.
I did Bharatnatyam, I did art. So I did a lot growing up, like in addition to like just studying.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was pretty much allowed to do whatever I wanted as well, as long as it was productive.
Yeah.
So it didn't mean like I can watch unlimited television or something, but if I want to paint, if I want to dance, if I want to, I studied the keyboard and the Trinity exams, like any of that stuff was like highly encouraged.
And that's very much influenced by the decisions that your parents must have taken for you when you were a kid, right?
For sure.
Like for me, my parents put me into karate when I was just 3.5 years old, okay? I started karate. And I remember my dad speaking to me, he's like, Beta, do you want to go for karate? I was like, kya hota hai karate? Now, 3 years old, And then he was just logically trying to explain it to me, and I was like, okay, fine, let's do this.
Yeah.
So in fact, my dad did not take a promotion in office so that he could come home early and take me to karate.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was,
it's oh my god. A lot of commitment.
Yeah. And I went on to become one of the youngest black belts. I became black when I was like 8.5. Wow. And I have like broken bones. You know, you say that your bone was broken, but yeah, like it's crazy. And I do feel that a lot of these things that you do in the childhood go on to shape your personality. How you deal with fear, how you deal with humiliation, how you deal with rejection, and how consistent you are, how good you are as a team player. It all comes from the extracurriculars that you do as a child.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, in the middle, I used to be like, I used to see all my friends playing or like doing random things, and I used to be like, yaar, why do I have to go to karate class? Why do I have to go to like abacus class? Do this? I'm just doing math, you know, like in my head, like a mad person. But yeah, I do feel that somewhere it trains you to be a little different. I wouldn't say better or worse, but I would just say in terms of perspective. So when we were speaking earlier, you said, and this is something that stuck with me, it's incredible, you said that you look at struggles very differently. You don't, they are struggles, okay, but you don't think of them as struggles.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, Bhagat Singh said that the people that are mad enough to change, the people that think they're mad enough to change the world are the ones who do. And that comes from rewiring your brain into seeing things differently with a unique perspective.
Sure.
So tell me more about that. Like, how did you rewire your brain? What made you do it? Or did it just come inherently from within?
So I would say, like, you know, whenever I did anything, whether it was studying really hard in school to get a certain grade, or like even getting into an Ivy League, or like, you know, preparing for that, all of that stuff was, everyone said, okay, it's not going to be easy, like, you know, you'll have to work really hard, and sort of said like, you know, there's so much competition and all of these things, and I was like, okay, but so what?
Yeah.
Like if it was easy, then everyone would do it.
Yes, yes.
And I never looked at it like, oh my God, this is a struggle. Like now I have to work hard and I have to do this and I have to do that. It was just like natural.
Yeah.
Like naturally I would have to sort of work hard to do something that others don't get easily.
Yeah.
And the same way when I was starting Poshan, they would say it's a super crowded market and very competitive market, and they would also say you'll have, you know, you will struggle so much, like what have your struggles been building Poshan? And I just don't see it like that. Like I'm sure that, like you said, I'm sure there have been struggles.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do what I did easily.
Right.
I don't think so. There's definitely stuff that's happened.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I just don't see it like that. I just see it as doing what needs to be done. And if it's not easy, it doesn't matter. You still have to do it.
Yeah, that's such a strong lesson, because when you face struggles or this competitiveness, right, you either go one way or the other. Now, the other way to go about is that you end up feeling so worthless that you kind of, you know, you always doubt your self-esteem because you think you're not good enough because everybody around you is so competitive. And the other way to look at it is, okay, but if not me, who else will? And that's the road that you chose for yourself.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I don't get like scared of these sort of things. I'm like, okay, but you still do what you have to do. If I want to do something, I have to do it.
Correct, correct. So were your friends also that competitive when you were a child?
I wouldn't necessarily say so. So my husband.
But in Ivy League, I'm sure in UPenn, you must have had competitive people as peers, right?
Yeah, they were incredible.
Because that's why they are in UPenn.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you my IMA story. When I got into IIM Ahmedabad, I felt like, so before IIM Ahmedabad, before I did my MBA, I felt like, so I've heard this, that if you're the smartest person in the room, then you leave the room, right? But for the longest time, it felt that, okay, theek hai, I can do this, I can do that, I can sort of accomplish this. When I stepped into the campus and the class of IIM Ahmedabad, I felt like every mad person in the whole universe was just put together in the same room in terms of intelligence, in terms of competitiveness, and you end up feeling like, oh my God, like either you get inspired or again you feel like, shit, I'm like worth nothing, you know. So it is incredibly important to keep talking to yourself, keep reflecting, and assure yourself that, okay, if you're not good right now, you're going to be better. You're going to be better. It's okay to not win in a competition, because, I mean, we all aspire to win 100% of the times, but maybe sometimes we don't. But the biggest loss is not participating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a very type A mindset.
Yeah.
Where I am like, if I do something, I have to win.
Yeah.
But at Penn, I would say yes, everyone was competitive, but not necessarily with each other.
Yeah.
I would say my biggest learnings at Penn were from my peers, because they were so inspirational.
That's what I was saying as well. I totally understand.
They were, they all wanted to achieve something.
Yeah.
Like having that sort of group and surrounding yourself with people like that who share that same ambition and vision in whatever they may do with you. In fact, I felt more normal. I was like, okay, like, I'm surrounded by people like me now. Like I'm not some weird person like obsessing over my books or obsessing over some ambition and like, have to work, can't party too
I do
much.
feel that you learn so much from your peers. I mean, you learn from professors 100%. They're like legends to be teaching in those institutions in the first place. But the learnings that you get from your peers also are unparalleled.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, for me also, and you would have faced the same thing. You know, we're looking at the same case study. A doctor gives her point of view. An architect would give his point of view. An aeronautical engineer would give her point of view. A finance person, investments person like I am would give my point of view. And then all these perspectives blend into one to solve that case. It gives me goosebumps. Yeah. Seriously. Right? I mean, tell me about your journey through the universe. Was it the same for you?
So at Penn, I mean, I definitely leveraged all the resources that I had. So whether it was professors, my peers, the library, and like incredible classes, even the way the syllabus and the campus was structured, the way they sort of taught everything, it was kind of crazy. But it was just like, you know, when you go there, you want to learn, you want to study, like that is your primary purpose. And that has stayed with me, I guess.
How did the concept of Poshan start? That must have been how many years ago now?
So I launched Poshan in October 24 actually. So it's been 13 months now.
13 months now. Okay. But did you conceptualize it a lot earlier than October 24?
So yes, more I would say is the product and the research that really excited me rather than the name Poshan and things like that. So I was in Paris and I always stay sort of in touch with like journal articles and like what's at the forefront of research being done in skin health, etc.
This was in which year?
It was 2022.
2022. Okay.
Yeah. So in 2022, around like I would say March to June, in between that time, I was like reading a lot of research, and a lot of it spoke about the microbiome science that I really went into previously, and I was really intrigued by it. So I had studied biology at Penn. I'd studied microorganisms, I'd studied fermentation, and all these things were like second nature to me. And I was like, wow, to connect this with skincare is insane. And it's like I felt like I was born, or like my whole life had been to do something like this. And at L'Oreal too, they were developing like microbiome science, and they were at least like exploring it and things like that. I was like, wow. We're talking about fermented ingredients, and we've spoken about fermented ingredients from like the Korean lens also, right? Like fermented rice water, ginseng, all of these things. And I was like, fermentation is an Indian science. Like we've been making dahi, idli, kanji, all these things forever. And it's part of Ayurveda as well with Asava, Arishtha. So why don't I sort of reinvent this with like more modern biotech now? And like proper science, and I was like, this is what I need to do. I need to come back to India. Like fermentation is an Indian science itself. I'm not bringing anything from the West back to India. I'm doing what we know how to do, just doing it in a modern, advanced way.
So you decided this when you were in Paris?
Yeah, so I would say this is when I became acquainted with like the research being done, and it really excited me. And now the idea of Poshan came more from like reflecting on my time in Paris, where a lot of my colleagues would ask me, oh Rhea, because L'Oreal owns a bunch of brands, right? And they'd be like, what brands do you guys use in India? And I would always say, like, I didn't want to name the same L'Oreal brands in India. So I would say like, oh, Forest Essentials and Pharma. And they'd be like, oh, so like, you know, at like ashrams, and like they would really sort of make it like this particular thing. And I was like, okay, no, like Indian skincare is not just dated back in like God knows when. We are innovative, we're building for the modern consumer.
But they do think very highly of Ayurveda, of yogic sciences also. I mean, when you look at the Western world, be it the United States or Europe also, they think so highly of yoga. I mean, maybe more than we think of yoga in India.
They are very amused by it.
Right.
But they see it as like a cultural idiosyncrasy. Idiosyncrasy, where they're like, oh, this is like so cool, and it's like a very, like it's not like daily life for them. So I would say I wanted to build something that actually resonated with the customer, like not stereotyping our culture. So even if you see our product names, we have like Dhoop Ki Rani sunscreen, or like Befikar Begum gentle face cleanser. It's something that's not like, I'm not putting you into like, you are a desi woman, that's why it should be like this, like Saundarya tan, something like, you know, any of those things. Like it's a very different take.
And do you see Poshan going out into the world, out of India?
100%. I mean, so many of my friends from Penn who still live in the US right now, and they were born and brought up there. They're like, do you ship internationally? Or my friends from Paris also are like, we need Poshan.
Because it'll totally kill it there.
I 100%,
feel.
I think so. There's
Yeah.
literally nothing like it.
Yes.
And there's such a huge market for like something that feels, culturally intelligent, but from a different culture.
Yeah, but I doubt Parisians would be able to pronounce the names Dhoop Ki Rani Hani. Dhoop Ki Hani. How would they do that?
Yeah, I don't know actually. They like, how maybe we mispronounce their
Yeah,
names.
yeah.
They don't mispronounce.
Yeah,
But
correct.
we are what we are, and then we can be snooty about it.
Right.
That's
I
not
love
how you say
it. I absolutely love that you didn't say I'm going to change my name for the global market or the name of the product.
Yeah.
But you were like, okay, let them do what they do. We'll do what we do. You do
Yeah.
you, boo.
We
Like
just say,
that.
this is how you say it. Like
Yeah.
how they teach us how to say their names.
Yeah, actually, they don't change their names. When you look at the designers also, not just in beauty, but also in clothing,
Yeah.
they'll stick to their names.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
we
Indians
should-
will butcher it, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Everyone
Yeah.
butchers it locally,
Yeah.
but that's fine. I think as long as you stick to your core and your
What we build.
yeah, what we built, it's amazing.
Yes.
So we want to know about the name. When I saw the pitch, it was so funny because Prateek was saying that you spoke about all the ingredients that went
Yeah.
into building your brand,
Correct.
and they're all food ingredients.
Yes.
And that's essentially where the name is derived from also, because it's
Absolutely.
the nutrients, right? Am I right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
all
Poshan is
for your skin.
Potion for your skin. Yeah. So tell me how you came up to that name. Like, how did you decide, okay, I want to call this Poshan? And what was it like? Like, what was the initial reaction of your family? Did they like the name? Were they instrumental to coming up with this name?
Got it. So, I would say the way that I arrived at the name was from a bunch of places. Like, one, I knew that I wanted it to be a Hindi name. So, I wanted it to sort of resonate with our Indian cultural branding. So, I knew that. Second, I was like, how do I make it stay true to our formulations? Because that's what I was thinking about as someone who formulated all my products myself. I was
Yeah.
like, what makes it make sense?
Yeah.
So we use, as you rightly mentioned, a lot of kitchen ingredients,
Yeah.
which are also like superfoods, and they're really good for your skin. And growing up, I'm sure you and like all of us have had, these nani ke nuske where they'll put
Yes.
aloe on your face, they'll put
Yeah.
haldi, they'll
Yeah.
put besan, like
Yeah.
all of these things, and they all come from the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so food is definitely something, and the kitchen is something that I want to be central to this. And at the end of the day, it's good food, like nourishing food.
Yeah.
And that's how Poshan came about, because
Yeah.
Poshan means nourishment
Yes.
in Hindi.
Yeah. And were your family on board with it?
Yeah, I think my family doesn't really interfere in my decision making.
Acha, okay. They know to stay away from the bossy lady.
I would say they know, like, I've put in a lot of work, and I've
Yeah,
studied a lot
yeah.
to end up at what I'm, finally deciding at.
Yeah.
Like, if I've decided a certain thing, a certain way. And yeah, my parents have always been, encouraging of like, whatever I feel like is the best for my brand, for example, or even for my life for that matter, they let me decide.
Yeah. That's something that you've earned, and I've realized this because when your parents trust you, I see so many parents that are apprehensive of the decisions that their children make. But when they come to a point where they trust you blindly, and that's something that's come through the years with everything that you've done, and them seeing it, in action. Okay, she's capable of handling her own life, and it's a very big compliment. It's not me complimenting you, but it's just a universal compliment. Just parents trusting, and I've seen this a lot with daughters. To be very
They
honest.
trust doctors more.
Yeah, they do.
Women
right?
are just better.
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, growing up, my mom was always very interested in making sure that I, get what I want from like an academic perspective, or like giving me all the resources to make sure I sort of succeed in that aspect. And my dad was excellent at motivating me.
Yeah.
So he's like, this is what you need to do, this is where you need to be, this is what you need to achieve. And like sort of charting out that path for me, and me sort of following along, trying to
that's
keep
so nice.
up.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, now she seems like she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. There's a very unique bond between a father and a daughter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for fathers, it's like tomorrow, even if you climb the Mount Everest, he's going to be like, acha, maybe you can do more. Like, they're absurdly optimistic, and I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but they just think that, you know, we were capable of achieving a lot of things. Like, I get so scared sometimes when something good happens. For example, like if I get a promotion or I crack a big deal, I go to my dad, I'm like, okay, this happened. He's like, okay, but you should ask for this also, you should ask for that also, but you're capable of this also. I'm like, okay, can you calm down little? Okay. But it's incredible because I think that the belief that they have in daughters, right? It's a whole different bond between a father and a daughter.
So actually, two things here. One, I think my mom and dad are both that person for me.
Yeah.
So I remember like topping the world in math in the 10th grade.
Yeah.
And like getting like the highest cumulative average. And then, but in English, I got like 3 points less or something. And my mom was like, okay, but, and I called her up from school because I was so overjoyed.
Yeah.
I was like, Mama, you know, I topped and etc.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, but what about those 3 points? And
oh my God.
funnily enough, on the IDEABAAZ set also, I inadvertently did it. I didn't even realize, but they did that audience poll.
Yeah.
And I got 96%. Yes. And I was like, who are these 4% who don't believe in Poshan? So it was actually like, and my mom was like, Rhea, did you realize you did that? I was like, oh my God, I had no idea. Like it was probably playing on, like it's just what built into me.
Yeah.
And with my dad actually on the episode, so I asked for my valuation. I was like, 1 crore for 5%. And Archana was like, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And then my dad was like, you should have negotiated. I was like, but she gave me what I asked for. Like, how do you negotiate from that? He was like, you would have gotten higher. I was like,
but you did get higher.
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, come on,
after the show, yes.
But what we saw on the pitch was just the pitch, and the moment that you were on stage, we want to know more about the journey that actually led to it.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about how you got into IDEABAAZ. What was the application like for you, and how did you prepare for that incredible pitch that you gave?
Cool. So at this point, I'd launched Poshan in like November 24, end of October 24. It had been 3 months. We were doing our very first pop-up.
Oh, nice.
At the Little Flea, which happens in Geo Garden.
In December, right?
Yeah.
December, Jan, right?
I think it was December, Jan, one of those 2 months. And it was like a very young brand. I just put it out into the world, and I was getting customer feedback, and I was like, this is the perfect place to go, because we'll see real time how customers are responding to our names, how they're trying on texture, what do they like, what do they not like, what are they naturally gravitating towards, what do they want to experiment with, and obviously sell products. So I was at the Little Flea, and this was on the second day, and on the second day it was absolute madness. Like we had crazy footfall. So my husband was there, my brother-in-law was there, my parents, his parents.
Wow. Did you have enough inventory?
Yeah, we had enough inventory. We had like, one thing I do is keep enough inventory. The downside is much worse.
Yeah, so, I know.
So
that's like opportunity cost. It stings. You know?
Yeah. So we were just there, and we were like selling, and I was like in mid pitch to a customer, and like apparently I was very occupied because I was talking to so many people. And one of the startup curation partners, TapStart for IDEABAAZ, had actually come to our stall, and I was unavailable at that moment. So they spoke to my husband. They're like, okay, Rhea seems like she's really selling her product. So we just want to tell you that there's a show coming. It's called IDEABAAZ, and it's going to come on ZTV and Z5. Like, tell her to call me, here's my card, like if she's interested. And I love her product names, and I love her brand name, and I love the stall and the packaging, and everything is great. So so we like, the day was over and all, and then Ravi came to me and he was like, Rhea, you know, she approached us, and are you interested? I was like, of course I'm interested. Like,
that must have been
yeah,
amazing.
It's going to come on national television,
Yes.
and it's only been 3 months
yes,
since I've launched this
exactly.
brand.
How did that feel?
It was overwhelming to the
Yeah.
point where I thought it was like fake. I was
Huh.
like, there's no way. Like,
Yeah.
acha, okay, like who knows when, what will happen? And I was
Yeah.
like, sure. I reached out to Saranjika and I was like, okay, by the way, you'd stop by our stall and I'm super interested. Like, let me know next
Yeah.
steps. And I think it was IDEABAAZ's, it is IDEABAAZ's first season. Even they
Yes.
were figuring stuff out. So she's like, yeah, I'll keep you informed. Don't worry, I'll keep you informed. And then she made me meet the creative team, like I think a couple months later, like 2 to 3 months later. And I met the creative team and I took my products and I spoke about the brand and I was like very enthusiastic and excited. And they were like, okay, like sounds good and we'll get back to you. And then I was just told like do the application process. Like fill in the form and send your video pitch and everything and we'll get back to you. So I was like, okay, sounds good. And then after that, I was called again to like sort of discuss my pitch, like what I'll be saying on the show. And no one had told me that I've like made it through this process. So I've gone there, they've discussed this pitch and all. And at the end of the conversation, I'm like, okay, but like, am I selected? And they're like, yeah, that's why we're doing this meeting. And that's why we're discussing your pitch. So I was like, incredible. And after that, I went crazy preparing. So the first thing is that the entire show was in Hindi. And I know Hindi obviously and I can speak Hindi, but it's not the language that I express myself best in.
Yes.
So I would see that as a disadvantage. So I was like, no, I need to revise, only speak
I know
Hindi.
very well how that feels like. Because I get so I love talking, okay, but I get so nervous to speak in Hindi because first of all, I'm a Maharashtrian, okay. First of all, I would think in either English or Marathi. I'm not thinking very naturally in Hindi in my head, and then to have to translate whether it's correctly coming out, not coming out, I'm always a little jittery. But yeah, I totally hear you. So you had your pitch in Hindi as well, right?
Yeah, I had my pitch entirely in Hindi. So I prepared for that. I prepared for any and all questions that a potential VC or anyone, an investor would ask me.
Knowing you, I'm sure you would have prepared for like 200 questions.
So
assuming that they're only going to ask you 5.
I actually did. And I'm not joking. I've made a reel about it. So
you made a reel about it?
Yeah, and people who are preparing to pitch to any investor or
oh wow,
or like on any show of this sort, they can comment VC on my reel and they'll get my entire question bank.
Wow.
So it was all the 200 questions and I had spoken to VCs before IDEABAAZ. It wasn't my first time interacting with a VC. So I knew what they look out for, I knew what they care about and I made sure I covered like all my bases in that sense. And I prepared essentially really hard for it. And then there was the moment of like walking onto stage and it's a reality TV show. Which means that
it's unscripted.
Yes, it's unscripted and there are no takes and retakes and like unless something is like disastrously wrong. So I was thinking about like, okay, what is gonna happen like when I'm on stage and things like that, and I was like, okay, I just have to be myself, I have to be happy and like do what I do and I can't get too nervous.
Like how did it feel to be on that mammoth of a stage? Because when I walked into the stage just to see the setup, I was blown. So was it unnerving a little bit? Was it scary?
It was super grand. So before we actually shot, they had shown me the stage because I was like, what's it going to look like?
That helps a little bit.
Without lights though. So it wasn't as bright and like you're like what's going on, but it was still there. And I like when they were showing me, I've like secretly done a walk. I've stood on stage and done my pitch just as an extra like rehearsal. So just to be ultra prepared for that moment. But yeah, obviously getting on there, seeing everyone, I was like, wow, this is
because you only get a few minutes, right, for the pitch.
Yeah, you only get a few minutes,
and you have to like ace it in that 3 minutes because that's not going to be extended to like 3-4. I mean, of course you'll have follow-up questions, but how you present yourself, like first impression, right?
And I thought that's the thing that counts the most, so I have to really be confident when I'm saying what I'm saying, because for others to believe in what you are saying, you have to believe in yourself.
Correct.
And that was the mindset that I went in with. And then there was an audience, and Pratik was there, and I was like, I actually was really grateful for having Pratik there, because he was so warm, and he was asking like light-hearted questions, not like super intense, and he was sort of moderating. So I was like, okay, he's there to, like, in case I don't know what to say, he's going to say something. So
Right. You know, he is incredibly sweet that way. When I saw the show, I also noticed these things, that he wanted to make the people comfortable.
Yes, for sure.
Because it is overwhelming. You know, I think for somebody like you who's done this before, maybe not so much. But imagine somebody coming from a tier 2 city where they don't have access to a lot of these things, and then suddenly being on national television. I can only imagine what that would feel like.
Yeah.
So Pratik has been amazing.
He was great. And in fact, this really red buzzer moment, which is when
I wanted to ask you, so when Archana pressed that red buzzer, did you think it was a bad thing or a good thing? Because a lot of people just get so scared.
No, so
कि क्या हो गया हमारे
no,
साथ?
it was, I was shocked, because I wasn't fully done with like the questions and everything, and the audience poll hadn't happened.
Yes.
So Pratik was like, okay, everything's good, but first, let's not jump the gun, like watch what the audience has to say. And he was really great then, and when she pressed the red buzzer, I was honestly in shock, because...
But good shock or bad shock?
No, great shock.
Okay.
Because, you know, when you're building in such a crowded category, and I wasn't a pre-revenue company, I was a company that was generating revenue.
Yes.
The way you are judged is based on your revenue multiple. Like, that's what gives you your valuation. So in the BPC space, it's generally 5 to 6x.
5 to 6x.
5 to 6x of your annual revenue. And I was projected to make 1 crore, say, in which case I would have a 5 to 6 crore valuation. So it took, it took a lot of, like, in terms of my vision for what I want Poshan to be, and like really standing my ground, like I'm not going to unnecessarily raise at a low valuation just because of my current revenue, like having the belief in my formulation and everything. I was like, I'm going to raise at a 20 crore valuation. And at that point, when Archana pressed the red buzzer, I was like, wow. Essentially, Archana was like, I want to do this deal. And Shelly was mid-question. And she was just like, she gave Archana a look, she was like, what? And then Shelly was like, okay. And after everything was done, Shelly just looked at Archana and she's like, is it okay? Like, would you mind if others join? And Archana was like, I want to do this solo.
I think Archana was just sold on your target ARR.
Oh, yeah,
like, 2 crore a month, okay, done. Let's talk business, baby.
That's insane, right? Because if I listen to all the industry experts and what the multiples told me, I would be raising at a 6 crore valuation, which would dilute me so much more unnecessarily, when that's not even the worth of what I was building is. So yeah, it was a great moment.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And that also, sets that example that you shouldn't ask for lesser than what you deserve.
100%.
Because there might be a chance that you might get it, and then why settle for less?
One of my professors at Penn told me, like, and it was part of his class, like, ask for the highest thing you can ask for with a straight face.
Yeah, it's very important. That's negotiation 101, by the way. We ask for a little and then we try to justify. Ki nahi, but it'll add this value, it'll do this, it'll do that. No. Why?
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I think investors really value your vision, and if you have that sort of growth plan and like what you want to build, and they can see that you're looking at scale, they're interested.
What happened afterwards? So your pitch happened a few months ago.
Yeah.
And then after that, how has it been like? How's the growth been like? How's it interacting with Archana? What's happened?
So, after that, I mean, it's been insane, right? Because knowing that I have Archana's backing, and she's a formidable investor.
Yeah. And you're scared of her. You need to talk about that.
I mean, she's a very strong woman.
Yeah.
And she knows, and she like would catch on to bullshit. So you can't bullshit her, and you can't sort of say anything. Like, she knows. She's a sharp, intelligent woman. She knows what she's talking about. And I have a lot of respect for her actually. I see her as an inspiration as well. So, and also I am scared of her. But
just by the way, I'm also scared.
No, but I think I like to believe we have a great relationship.
Yes.
She knows me, she's met my family.
Oh, how nice.
She's been to my office, I've been to hers, we've shot reels together. In her office, at my watch party that I actually had for IDEABAAZ.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think she really believes what I'm building in. She also appreciates the way I'm building Poshan in the founder-led sort of Gen Z way. And yeah.
Your parents were so proud. I could see the look in your mom's eyes and your dad's eyes that they were just looking at you like, what is that dialogue? Ja Simran ji le apni zindagi.
Yeah. So essentially, I would say, I think that is incredible for them to do because truly you cannot build something without your support system. And in India, it is your family. Like if your family does not support you, you cannot do what you need to do.
100%.
And having them there was, I mean, I wouldn't, like both my in-laws and my parents, like, and my husband and my brother-in-law, like they are integral to what I'm doing. Like I wouldn't be able to do what I do without them. So having them come on stage, like living that moment with me, being super happy, and you know, all of those things I think was the most important for me. Like having them on stage was important for me. Like even though I'm a solo founder and a lot has been said about that, I think I have a lot of co-founders that just don't have equity.
I was just gonna say that's a win-win, you know. It's a win-win. Like we have a support system, but you don't have equity. But I was just about to say that, you know, that being solo is just on the facade of it.
Correct.
But what goes on behind, everybody that's channeling their energies or efforts, both tangible as well as intangible, to make you go towards what you want to be.
Absolutely.
That's something that I think is a little bit integral to India and Indian families, because otherwise the kind of support system also that you're talking about, I mean, a lot of us want to follow the Western culture and live in a nuclear family, just figuring out our own way. But staying in a family, you mentioned your brother-in-law also. So I'm assuming that you have a very big family that you're living with, right? So the kind of the support, the energy or the vibes that you get from there is great, right? To have.
It was an active decision actually to stay with my in-laws and my brother-in-law, because I knew I was starting something, right? And to manage your house and like, because it is a full-time job.
Very difficult,
and it is like, if you want to do it well, like if you want to eat well, if you want to sleep well, and those two are like important things, like good health and mental health, to have that sort of piece sorted, because I live with my in-laws and they are more than happy to like, you know, make sure that dinner's made and like, you know, whatever I need is sort of taken care of at home. Like that's an incredible privilege. So I can expend 100% of my energy at work. Like nothing at home. So that is again super good. And one of my...
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
It is.
I think it is. So my sister actually, I have a younger sister, she couldn't make it to the pitch because she had a US visa appointment, and we know how tough those are to come by these days. So she had to go. And she's potentially going to work in the US for a bit and come back. And she was like so sad that she was missing my pitch, and then after I was done, she's like, tell me everything from like, you know, from the beginning to the end. And I was like, Shreya, you know, I actually got it, and like, you know, the valuation I asked for and everything. And she's like, yeah, Didi, but when have you not gotten what you want? And I was like what?
It's so nice that she looks up to you that way.
So much.
How old is she?
She's 22.
22, wow. Very, I think if she's going to US and working at 22, a lot of people are studying, right, at 22.
Yeah, she graduated and she's doing consulting in New York.
Oh, nice.
She got her visa and stuff. So
nice. You're like a family of very high achievers.
No.
It's crazy. You step into a room and you're just going to make the other person be so scared. No. I think, no, I'm telling you what. Yeah, I think you're scared of Archana today.
Yeah.
In the next 5 years, you're going to have people being scared of you. And then you're going to set it off with this laughter of yours. yours. I'm like, don't. Like, there's no reason to be scared of me, but you're going to be scary. And I think it's amazing. You should own it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And coming to your brand, Beauty by Brains, I love it, okay, because a lot of times beauty and brains are isolated.
Yes.
They work in silos. So when you're a little bit good looking or little bit presentable also, I'm not saying like the best, okay, little bit above average also, a lot of times it gets difficult because society looks at you like you don't have brains or you don't have a personality.
Yeah.
And that comes because maybe they've been accustomed to people, or I have no idea where it comes from, to be very honest, but they feel that you don't have to develop a personality to get by in society. So when they see somebody who's also presentable and also has depth in what she speaks, it's amazing, but it comes with a lot of effort. So people like you, I'm assuming, would have had to put in that extra effort to prove themselves. Has it ever happened with you?
So I would say, you know, like growing up, and it's not, I wouldn't put it at the fault of anyone or like society, for example. They would always see women as, you know, people who should be beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you're more valued as a beautiful woman than as an intelligent woman.
Yeah.
And for me, that was something that never sat well because I was putting in effort to be intelligent.
Yes.
And because that's what I think is really important in the long run, right?
Yeah.
To not, obviously you should be beautiful, everyone is beautiful in their own ways, but having that sort of intelligence, career drive, independence, financial independence, that's equally important.
Yeah.
And they were seen as separate things, like okay, either she's beautiful or she's intelligent, and never as both. And they also saw beauty in this very like superficial way, which is like, oh, she cares about looking good and that's what her personality is about. And it was so isolated from the brains aspect. And for me, that's, and what I'm building right now is that a lot of brains, whether it's the science that goes into formulation, whether it's the genius of marketing or like, you know, those sort of things, they really, they are what make a brand beautiful or make you beautiful.
Yes.
And so Beauty by Brains is something I strongly stand by. I don't think they exist, you know, in an isolated way.
And maybe it's time to change that. So my father always said that to me when I was a child. He said, you should always be known by your mind first.
Yes.
And then by everything else. Because you talk about beauty, you talk about physique, whatever, it fades over time. But knowledge increases over time.
Yes.
So that's the only way that you leave your legacy behind, through wisdom.
Absolutely.
And that's stuck with me, you know, somewhere. And I always strive to be somebody who absorbs knowledge more than anything else, because that's not superficial.
Correct.
And everything else kind of potentially is, right? So yeah, I can imagine when you walk into a room and when you say that, oh, I'm a scientist, or when I say I'm an investment advisor, people are like, what are you saying? You know, like what's happening? But I do feel that maybe it's time right now, and that's happening. I see so many young girls that want to be so much more.
Yes.
They want to create something of their own and to be taken seriously by society, not just be plus ones of their businessmen husbands, or, you know, because earlier I think maybe in the earlier generations it used to be, okay, how do I settle and marry a rich guy? But I love Cher. Have you seen her interviews? She told her mom that, Mom, I am a rich guy. My experience with men, and that's what she said, my experience with men has been amazing because I don't need men. I want them.
Yes.
There's a lot of difference.
Correct.
So what you're doing is building an identity, a legacy of your own, which is isolated to your, say, father-in-laws or your fathers.
Absolutely.
And
or
that's
my
how,
husbands, for example. Yeah, and
very commendable.
I
It is.
I think
you should be okay with taking compliments by now.
Yes.
If you're going to be my friend, you're going to get a gazillion lot of those.
That's so sweet.
More and more every day. I love entrepreneurial women. I love people, especially women who have that vision or dream that is just their own.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, just adding to that, I definitely feel like, you know, there's a large part of society which would be like, okay, like, you know, like you said, like, you don't need to work.
Yes.
Or you don't, like, your husband will take care of you, or your family will take care of you. Or this whole idea that, you know, just like focus more on like how you look, and women are also like, you know, applauded for more of that.
Yes.
Versus their education. Like no one, like she's like, oh my god, she looks so beautiful, and versus like she has XYZ degree, or like she earns so much. Like that, those are compliments reserved for a man. And no matter what you do, you have to like sort of balance both.
Yes.
But I think for all, like, I mean, I would like to say, like, for, you know, all girls growing up, they shouldn't only focus on one of the two.
Yeah.
They should prioritize both.
Yeah.
And sort of that is something no one can take away from you. Like your education will stay with you, what you build will stay with you, and that's what you should be focusing on, and everything else will fall into place.
Yeah. What was the reaction of your family members, your friends? You put out a lot of content on your social media. What was the traffic like? What was your audience saying? Tell us more about that.
So actually, I had kept the fact that I was on IDEABAAZ, that short for IDEABAAZ, like a secret for a really long time, because I'd signed NDAs, and I was like, we don't know how it's going to come out and things like that, and I didn't know which episode also I'm going to come in, because they said they'll only let me know like a week before it airs. So I hadn't told anyone. And when I finally found out that my episode was airing, I was coming in the women's special, and it was like so close to when the show released. I was like, firstly, I myself was overjoyed. I was like, wow, like this is actually happening.
Yes.
And I was super excited to share the news with my friends and family, because like beyond my immediate family, no one knew. And my friends had no idea either. And then of course, my Poshan community. Because you know that validation that you have when you are on national television, you are on a show where very reputed industry titans or, you know, VCs are sort of vetting your business. They're asking you questions, how you're answering, presenting Poshan on ZTV, Z5, like it's absolutely incredible. So the kind of response we got, not only after the episode aired, but also with just people interacting with us, it changed so much respect. A lot of people were like, you don't know what you have achieved, and like sometimes you don't, and it just feels good, I guess. Like a lot of hard work, seeing it come to fruition, you know, sooner than you anticipated.
Yeah. Did you get more followers? Did that happen?
Yeah, we got a lot more followers. We got a lot of orders. It kept us really busy.
Exactly. That's what I was getting to.
Essentially, it was a great for Poshan, great for me.
And are you looking at, from a scalability point of view, are you looking at increasing the product range? Are you looking at different geographies that you want to tap into? What's the strategy?
So what I'm primarily looking at is product development is something that we always do, and we are looking at launching new products, something very exciting coming soon.
Oh, okay.
But the way I'm looking at scale is right now we only sell through our website, which is poshanskincare.com. We're looking to expand to marketplaces like Amazon, Nykaa, etc., potentially quick commerce. So that'll really increase our distribution.
But focusing on online.
Focusing on online, e-commerce in the near future. What you would have seen is that, you know, we sort of really did well with our website. Like we have a strong channel where most of our revenue comes from. We got direct customer feedback. We knew who our customers are. We had customer information, and this I think is a really important thing to do for any early stage startup. Be close to your customers in the initial few days, and that's what we sort of stuck to, and now we have all the knowledge, all the insights that are just used to like make our communication better, make our products better, and just scale.
Wow. So tell me, and this is something that we always ask our entrepreneurs, what is your one advice for youngsters, or maybe not youngsters, anyone really, who wants to get into entrepreneurship? What is something that you would share with them?
I would say start now. Like there's no better time, and don't think too much. Like I remember when I was launching Poshan and I was like, okay, but the website is just not perfect, or like our Instagram could use a little bit more work, and you know, things are not going to be just perfect, but you just have to launch and you have to take it from there and keep improving, keep iterating, pivoting if you need to, if you don't have PMF. But just start, because the learnings that you have when you are actually doing versus when you're ideating what you would do are massively different. And nothing can replace execution and actually doing it and learning by doing. And don't delay it. Because, you know, at the start of the podcast, you said you will never be ready. Or like you will be ready, but you just don't know it. It's exactly that. There's no reason to wait and feel like you need a little bit more experience or you need this degree. You don't need any of that. You just need to start.
That's so valid. And in fact, this is an advice that one of my mentors also very recently gave me. So when I do investment advisory, I'm meeting like the who's of the who of India and telling them that, okay, you should invest here or there. And for the longest time, I just spent so much time reading material before I go for meeting. And that's when this senior partner from my firm told me that, you know, Pooja, you have to make mistakes. It's okay. You have to go for these meetings, and only those meetings will teach you what to do for the next meeting.
Correct.
Like no amount of preparation, you can read a gazillion papers every day, but no amount of that is going to prepare you for the practical world. You just have to step out. And that's so valid, that you just have to take the first step. And the rest of the road will show itself.
Because you learn by doing. Like you'll see what's not working. So you'll fix that and try to do something that will work. Like you could do a bunch of courses on digital marketing and things like that, but that's not what actually happens when you do it.
This is so important. And I think I'm glad to have gotten this advice in my life, and I'm so glad that the audience is getting it from you now. So it's amazing.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Rhea, for coming to this and for giving us your time. It has been incredible to have you here, and I'm sure a lot of people, more so women, young women, are looking at you and going to be like, okay, I'm going to be like her.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Come here.
Thank you.
So this was the story of a woman who has always dared to dream big. For more such exciting stories, stay tuned to this space. This is the IDEABAAZ Podcast. This is the voice of India's dreamers. Like, share and subscribe.